Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report from Regency Centers. And let me tell you, it's not exactly a roller coaster of excitement. Think of it as more of a slow motion elevator ride, but hey, sometimes the most important stuff happens when things seem quiet. We'll break it down into plain English so you can understand what's going on behind the scenes. Regency Centers just released an update that investors are going to be looking at and using at conferences and meetings. The main takeaway here is that this document isn't legally binding in the same way that some official filings are. Think of it as a sneak peek rather than a formal declaration. If you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can discuss the reports with others. This report is filed by both Regency Centers Corporation and Regency Centers Corporation, and Regency Centers Corporation owns and controls the other one, Regency Centers LP. Here's a quick note on their stock. The main company, Regency Centers Corporation, has its common stock and preferred stock listed on the Nasdaq stock market. The other company, Regency Centers LP, doesn't have any of its own securities listed. That's pretty common. This part just confirms that they aren't a small, rapidly growing company or what the SEC calls an emerging growth company. Basically, they're an established player, not some new kid on the block trying to disrupt the industry. Okay, let's get to the heart of the matter. On June 2, 2025, Regency Centers Corporation put out an updated investor presentation. This presentation is what they plan to use when they talk to investors at conferences and meetings in the coming weeks. You can find it on their website if you are interested in the details. The thing is, this information isn't considered official in the same way as some other reports. It's more like a snapshot they're sharing. This means if they say something in this presentation and later the official numbers are different, they aren't necessarily in legal trouble. Now this is important because this investor presentation isn't filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission. You can't hold them to the same standard as a real filing. It's like saying, hey, here's what we think is going on rather than here's the official legally binding truth. So what's the big deal? Well, these presentations often give hints about where the company thinks it's headed, what they're focusing on, and how they see their place in the market. It's marketing material, but it's marketing to the people who own the company, and that means it matters. The investor presentation itself isn't included in this report, so we can't see the specific slides or data they're using. But the fact that they are putting one out tells us they're actively trying to manage their image and keep investors informed. This part is pretty standard. It just says that they are including a file with computer-readable tags, what is called an interactive data file with this report. This helps computers understand the information in the report more easily. Finally, the report is signed by Michael R. Herman, who is Senior Vice President, General Counsel, and Corporate Secretary for both Regency Centers Corporation and Regency Centers LP. That signature is what makes it official Drake. Now let's step back and think about what this all means. Regency Centers is a big player in the shopping center business. They own and manage many centers around the country. In general, the whole retail landscape is changing. Online shopping is becoming more popular. That means companies like Regency need to work hard to keep their shopping centers relevant and attract shoppers as so. What can we tell from this report, even though it's mostly procedural? First, Regency is actively trying to communicate with investors. They know that investors want to know where the company is headed, so they're putting out presentations and attending conferences to share their vision. Second, the fact that this presentation isn't legally binding gives Regency some flexibility. They can test the waters with investors, share ideas, and adjust their plans as needed without being held to every single word. It can be a good thing, or it can indicate they are not yet confident in their figures. On the other hand, it would have been a lot better if the document had real information. The report essentially says, we have a presentation, which is not really useful for investors. Looking at Regency's strengths, they're an established company with a large portfolio of shopping centers. This gives them a stable base of income and the ability to attract major tenants. However, they also face risks. As a company with brick and mortar locations, they risk losing out to online shopping. In conclusion, this report is more of a teaser than a full mill. It tells us that Regency Centers is actively engaging with investors and trying to manage its image, but it doesn't give us a ton of new information about the company's performance or strategy. As an investor, I would want to dig deeper and look at their financial statements and other filings to get a more complete picture. Alright, that's our breakdown of Regency Centers' latest filing. What's your take on these hints and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.